How's it going, boys? Johnny Superb Man here, and today we're going to talk about the sad state of franchise mode in NHL 24. And it's a real shame, because GM mode used to be the one offline game mode that I actually enjoyed. I'd spend hours rebuilding a squad, making trades, signing players, and hoping that the EA simulation would go my way. I mean, I enjoyed it so much that it became my main series on my YouTube channel, the GM mode commentaries. And based on the fan interaction, it seems like a lot of other people enjoy the game mode as well. This is why it's so sad to see how basic and how stale the game mode has become. Now, I don't want to bore you by showing examples of how NHL 24 is bad. Instead, I want to remain positive and show off another game's franchise mode to let you all know what NHL 24 could be. Welcome to NBA 2K24, a far from perfect game. But the franchise mode, which is called My NBA, absolutely crushes NHL 24. First up, eras. Now, when you start My NBA for the first time, you will be asked when you want to start your career. Unlike NHL 24, where you can only start from opening day, in NBA 2K, you can go back in time to the LeBron era, the Kobe era, the Jordan era, or the Magic versus Bird era. Yeah, you heard me. That's right. You can go back in time and relive certain careers or dynasties and make the changes that you want. You can also load in the correct draft class for the upcoming draft for every draft, letting you play out history the way you want. Now imagine in NHL 24, if you could go back to the early 2010s or even the 2000s and take a team over with accurate rosters, accurate draft classes, and make the changes you wanted? Next up, we have league history, and this is where the game tracks all the stats from what's already happened in the NBA to what will happen during the player's simulation. NBA records, team records, and my favorite, league history. The game will show all the past champions, the MVPs, the league leaders, the Hall of Famers, not just the last 5 years, all the years. Next up, roster edits. At any time, I can go into any team's roster and make any change I want. I can edit a player's overall, tendencies, position, contract, remove an injury, you name it, the game allows you to do it. Now, some people might think that this is cheap, but listen, it's an offline game mode. Give the player as much freedom and flexibility to enjoy the game however they want. Next up, player comparison or team comparison. It's very nice to be able to compare my team with a rival right before a playoff matchup so that I can make some adjustments. And player comparison is great because it allows me to make decisions on which player to keep or trade without having to remember their stats going from screen to screen. It's all there on front of me on one screen. Next, player mentorship program. Basically, older players can hand down the badges that they have to the younger players. This allows you to teach a rookie certain skills that you choose as the general manager. Instead of badges or X factors being earned randomly, you can actually bring in a veteran and link him with a younger player and make that younger player into the player that you want him to be. Next, post-start changes. Basically, after you begin your franchise mode in NHL 24, your options for change are dramatically cut. In NBA, you can still do anything after you begin. You can edit your rosters, as I mentioned before. You can edit draft classes for the players that are coming into the league. You can create players and put them in free agency. You can change what team you're in control of at any time. You can control multiple teams at any time. Hell, you can control every team all the time if you really want. And the last thing I'm going to mention is something very small, but it means the world to me: the post-game report. In NHL 24, when you sim past the game, it's over. The only information that you have is the score. In NBA, after a game, you can go into the box score and review all the info, from the players' stat lines of both teams to the team's comparison where it shows all the team stats. I mean, this allows the general manager to make decisions based on the information from the previous game, which is the whole freaking point of franchise mode, EA Sports. Now, I could keep going, but I think I've made my point. NHL 24 at this stage is decades behind where they should be. All you have to do is look at other sports games that are doing it better and ask yourself, why EA Sports? Why?